Hello, my name is Gwen, and welcome to your practice today. We'll enjoy 30 minutes together as we amplify our inner light. Let your intention be to challenge yourself, to bring that quality of gratitude or devotion or enthusiasm to your practice. Into each breath throughout your practice, see how much more energy you can transform as you bring this little refinement of enthusiasm, gratitude, and devotion to your practice. So we are going to build our heart beds and come into a passive back bend. You can use a bolster. If you have a noodle, you can wrap a noodle, your swimming noodle, or you can go ahead and have two blankets. I've already gone ahead and rolled the center blanket nice and tightly, and then take the other one and wrap right around. And then bring that all the way and lift it onto so have the head on a yoga block or two. You might even have another yoga block by your side if your back body is really tight and contracted. You might need the head lifted more. You might want to roll a blanket underneath the head. And then bring your back to your support. And nestle the lower back right in so the sit bones are on the floor. You can bring your hands into the bottom of your support and then roll all the way down. And then once you feel supported, have the head a little rock, give it a little rock from side to side, and notice if the chin is hiked up towards the ceiling. That'll be an indication that there's some tightness in the back body, tugging. So then as you lift the head with a little pillow underneath it, or you bring another block underneath, the chin will start to come closer to the heart center. And this will give a lengthening to the back of the neck, the cervical spine, a little rock to the back of the head, and allow that to settle. The shoulders will sink down and drape just a little more each exhale. Heel toe your feet a little wider. Have the heels outward, toes inward, and build that lean to of the inner knees. Allow them to knock. And then as we breathe here together, just feel for a moment this shape. From the sit bones, sweep your attention up to the shoulders. And even from here, feel that gratitude of being able to rest, to breathe here together, to spend this quality time, this devotion to yourself. Come into your breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and feel that breeze at the back of the throat. Let the body gently, softly unwind and unravel. Take your time. Know that you can visualize all of this. We will be moving with our breath today in our pranayama. It's an invitation. You can stay still if your body is craving stillness. Please do. Bring your focus all the way inward with the eyes closed. And then notice how you feel each breath. Perfect. If you'd like to move with the breath, go ahead and take that right arm and cross it over the heart center. Hook that hand onto the shoulder. On your next natural breath, give that shoulder a lift into the hand. Notice how the hand presses into the floor as the shoulder lifts. You can pause filled with breath and then allow it to lower. Up and down, just like that with the breath. Inhale, pause, filled with breath. Exhale, surrender. One more just like that. Feel the fluidity of this movement. Notice as we bring a little encouragement, a little enthusiasm into this shoulder. And then now we'll move that shoulder on your next natural breath like a shrug up to the earlobe, and then drag it away from the earlobe. Up and down just like this. Inhale, a light little pause, and exhale, a light little pause. The breath doesn't have to be as full. So just notice the breath with the movement. So if it's quicker, a shorter breath. And then relax and soften. Let's bring all of that together in a circular motion. So go ahead and on your next natural breath and shrug. And lift that shoulder. Drag it downward. And then let it drop towards the floor. Feel this circle and what it feels like in the hand. All those receptors in the hand feed all the way through to the middle of the brain. This valuable information gets sorted and registered in a loop, a pathway. And then what's the other direction like? So as the eyes remain closed, we use those inner eyes, this internal witnessing. And notice how you feel for one more. As that shoulder relaxes down, let the knuckles roll to the floor. The other hand can settle in. Notice the shoulders sink and soften like weights. The fullness. Is there a heat? A brightening? Come into your intention for your practice to amplify that light through our enthusiasm, through our devotion, through that gratitude. Notice from one shoulder to the other. And then go ahead and take the other hand over to the other side. When you're ready, breathe and lift that shoulder up. Maybe that hand comes into the floor and helps the shoulder come up. Maybe the hand on that shoulder presses down. All of these different qualities can come into your journey. Or maybe you're visualizing all of this. Whatever it is, notice how it feels as you breathe deeply, a little pause. And as you empty the lungs, a little pause. And how about one more just like that? And then we'll gently shrug when you're ready, up towards the ear and away from the ear. A continual, slow, methodical, deliberate movement. Notice what that feels like on this side. The drag of the arm as the shoulder initiates the movement. Maybe one more. And then let's bring it all together when you're ready with a little shrug, a little lift into the hand, drag it down, and then let it lower towards the floor. Notice this circular movement. And what does this feel like in the hand? Did this side get the memo? Is it moving a little more smoother? What is the other direction like? And then rest that effort. Let the knuckles settle on the floor. Feel the targeted area all the way through the arm to the fingertips, through to the other side. Notice the contrast from one side to the other. You can draw that beautiful line through the collarbone. Feel the length. And then all the way up through the brow to the center of the brain, and then down to the other shoulder. Notice that highlighted area. And what does that feel like in your body today? And we'll come into one more movement. So go ahead and let the knees come away and walk the feet up. From here, drag the hips to one side and roll right over to the other. Press yourself up and take your roll or your bolster up into your hip. Take the block just over to the side, and if we were laying in the clock, you're going to take that lower arm all the way down and point it to 12 o'clock. Let that lower half drape over the bolster. Anchor the hip on one side, shoulder on the other. The head can rest on that shoulder or share the workload between the back of the skull on the block and a little bit on the shoulder maybe. Come to where it feels better. Feel that top arm rest on that top edge. When you're ready, eyes closed. Take that next inhale and let that top hand lift. It might lift all the way towards the ceiling. Let it be the pump to the breath. Maybe an inhale all the way up and let it arc. Might come all the way above the crown. So it might be a long, long breath with a pause. You can explore maybe a shorter breath, a quicker breath. Have some fun and bring that enthusiasm in here. You've devoted yourself to this practice. That's enough. Feel that deep gratitude towards yourself for breathing and moving just like this. And how about one more breath? And then we'll come right over to the other side. So you can roll right to the other side. I will flip to the other side. I do not want to bring my back to you. So as you set up, feel that bottom shoulder. Feel that bottom hip anchor and the shape of the half moon shape of the spinal column. Top hand on that top edge. When you're ready, eyes are closed, and feel as you lengthen and breathe, just like this. Inhale, open up, and as you exhale, notice that shoulder, neck. feel into your breath bit by bit here. Each breath, a new experience. Notice the rib cage as the arm comes up, the armpit area as you reach up, that lengthening quality. And how about one more? Maybe this feels like heaven on earth. Maybe you feel like you could stay here forever. And then from here, you'll take that hand into the floor. Unthread your bolster, so go ahead and take it off to the side. Come onto your back and come into your first body scan. The arms by your side, knuckles heavy. Let the back of the head rock, the toes wriggle. Feel what's heavy on the floor and what's light. From the heels through the Achilles, feel into the calf on both sides. Notice the weight from the shin to the calf, all the way through to the knee, to the thigh. Feel the fullness, the weight coming down into the floor from one side to the other. As the body feels and senses all the subtleties of that weight coming down through the sit bones, the evenness or unevenness, to the lower lumbar sacral spine. How is the body speaking to you here, from one side to the other? What is that conversation like? Can you feel into that subtlety of sensation? To that mid-spine, right below the sternum. Let your inner eyes fan broad and wide to the back of the shoulders after a long held back bend with plenty of shoulder involvement. You might feel like they're sinking down a part of the floor as we countered all of that forward motion. A little rock to the back of the skull. Feel into any sensation in the neck, the jaw, and then relax, come into your stillness. Take that internal snapshot after a little pranayama, a little breath work, a little movement. What do we have here? Our starting point once again. From here, go ahead and bend up one knee. Press into that foot and then the other. Drag the hips over to the side and use that lower arm as your pillow. We're going to come into Celtic Cross, again, a shoulder involvement. So, like all of our somatic movements, the eyes can remain open at the start, but once you have the gist of it, you close those eyes. So if you can, use the lower arm as your pillow. If that's not available, you can use another pillow or your rolled blanket. So come to where it feels better. Let the knees bend. Feel into the top leg and let it rest on the bottom. Get comfortable. And then on your next breath, let that top arm rest on that top edge. Come into that top shoulder. When you're ready, go ahead and drag that top shoulder to the ear like a shrug. And then drag it away from the ear all the way down, down, down. On the next one, you can bring it up to the ear like a shrug and pause. Lift the head, let the ear come towards it, and then lower the head as you drag it down. You press the head down. And now come into that add-on. This is an invitation, so if it feels okay, the head can lift as the shoulder shrugs. You pause. And then as the head comes down, away, you pause. Or just simply shrug and let the shoulder move away. And then pause. Notice how you feel. And then we'll come into a forward and back motion of the shoulder. So when you're ready, go ahead and roll that shoulder forward. And then simply roll it backward. Let's go ahead and come into this a little bit more. Let the shoulder roll forward. The head can roll forward. Feel the contraction of the belly, all the muscles of the front body. And then as you roll that shoulder back, maybe the head rolls back, a little arcing sensation. Notice the back body contract. And now forward, a little contraction of the front of the spine. And then a little contraction of the back. And how about one more? And then you can pause. We'll bring that all together. Eyes closed as best as you can. Give a little shrug of that shoulder up. Let it fall back. And then drag it down. Shoulder comes forward. Notice the fluidity as you bring it up. And now circle it. It might be a nice small circle or a big, big circle. Play. Let that creativity come into the circular movement now. Might be a little faster. And now what is the other direction like? As you explore the sounds, any snap, crackle, pops, you might just gently come into a semicircle through that. And then pause. Let's go ahead and come into our second now body scan. The knees can remain bent. Heel toe them a little wider and have the heels out, toes in. Knock those inner knees. Come into the targeted area of the shoulders as you relax the arms down. Feel into the whole back body as it settles down. From one shoulder to the other. Through the length of the arms. Draw that line from the shoulder to the middle of the brain. That triangle down to the other shoulder. The length of the back. Feel the legs to the toes. And let's go ahead and come on over to the other side. So either use your lower arm as a pillow, or you can go ahead and bring a pillow in with your bolster, your blankets, whatever feels delicious. Rest the top arm onto that top edge and notice how you feel, your starting point. Let it be comfortable. And then when you're ready, let the shoulder initiate the movement. The eyes are closed as the shoulder shrugs up to the ear. Let it drag away from the ear. The shoulder can move this way, up and then down. You can remain here or come into that add-on, which is an invitation. You can decline. The shoulder can slowly come up to the ear. You can give the head a little lift as that lower arm helps. Then the head can press down, down, down as that shoulder shrugs down. And then again, all the way up, that lower arm can help and participate. As you press into it with the head, the shoulder can come down. And how about one more time, a continual movement wherever you are, whatever feels good for your body. Take a breath, 2 or 3 here. Or come right into the other one, a forward and back motion of the shoulder. Let it come forward. And then all the way back. Notice how the shoulder can move like this. Let it feel like an organic add-on now. As it moves back, the head can roll back. You can pause in an arc. As it comes forward, the head can roll a wee bit forward, and you might feel a hollowing of the belly. Notice the muscles that come into play here. The front of the spine as the shoulder rolls forward. As it rolls back, the whole back body lights up. And then you'll pause and come into that beautiful circle shape with a shrug up. Let it roll back and then downward. Notice how the shoulder wants to move on this side. Let it. Feel that movement. And then the other direction. Is it fluid-like? Are there any snap, crackle, pops on this side? Any places where you simply skip over? Know that you can semicircle through them. And one more breath just like that. And then go ahead and come into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Come onto your backs just for a moment and witness before we really hop into our Shavasana and dive deeply. Feel from one shoulder to the other and witness the sensation, the contrast, the sounds, the vibration. Does it feel warm? Is it highlighted? Does that collarbone feel like it's miles and miles long? The shoulders sink downward into the mat. Our new normal. Feel the length of the arms, a little rock of the head. From here, you can bring your bolster underneath your thighs or your knees and let the legs drape over. You can use your blanket as a blanket, or if it's warm in your part of the world, you can have it right on the lower belly, top of the thighs, as a little bit of a weight to help that deep relaxation start to seep in. Eyes are closed. Let yourself rest here. Your doing is done. Final resting pose, Shavasana. Notice how you feel.